Hey guys, hi, welcome back once again. My name is Vaishali and today I'd like to talk about the cost-benefit analysis. Now we must have all heard of the saying that there are no free lunches, at least in this part of the universe. And I know it sounds rude, it even sounds crude, it even sounds like a curse. But truly, there are no free lunches, at least in this part of the universe. So just a few days back, I had this somewhat major minor kind of a dental operation. Now, most of the people are scared of doctors and a lot many more people are scared of dentists. And before I go on, I would really like to take this opportunity to thank the universe to grant me great set of teeth. So given the medical fact that I'm blessed with good teeth, I rarely had the opportunity to visit a dentist. But me not visiting the dentist did not mean that I did not get to hear about the dentist and the kind of stuff that they do and the kind of pain it causes. So this was the treatment, or rather the operation, that I had been pushing back for the past 13 to 14 years, if not more. It had so happened that in one of the x-rays, I came to know that my two lower wisdom teeth are stuck under a bone. Now, they are not completely stuck under the bone, but they are more or less halfway through stuck under the bone, which invariably meant that the dentist would have had to give me an injection, an anesthesia, to be able to make an incision over there, then to cut the bone and then to extract the wisdom teeth out and then stitch it up again. And I'm assuming and guessing that most of you would think that I had this fear of getting my bone cut. And it may sound very silly and ridiculous, but my major fear, the biggest fear that I had, was of getting injected. Now, the sight of injections or the sight of needles, it not only causes anxiety, but it causes a fear that I can actually call as a paranoia. So given my truth that I am scared of needles, I was scared about getting myself injected first to be numbed, and then thereafter, after the bone had been cut, after the tooth had been extracted, the other fear was having to stitch up the same wound with a needle again. And then probably there would be a third needle which would again come into the picture to numb this area down once the stitches had to be removed. But somehow this time around I had got enough courage to be able to plunge into my fears head on. Or maybe subconsciously I had gathered enough courage all through these years to be able to face my fears. So then the question is, after having not only gone through the extraction of this tooth, but also after having birthed a daughter through a C-section, have I eradicated the fear of the needles? The honest answer is no. The fear of the needles has not eradicated completely, but yes, the fear has gone down to becoming an anxiety now. It's no longer a paranoia. Now, for me in particular, it is the fear of the needle, because the needle looks like a knife that is being stabbed, but for somebody else, it can be some other fear as well. For somebody else, it can be trusting the other. For somebody else, it can be the fear of the change. For somebody else, it can be something else. For somebody else, it can be losing the hair. For somebody else, it can be losing their sight. For somebody else, it can be losing their body or their body shape. For somebody else, it can be a fear of being disfigured in some way or the other. For somebody else, it can be the fear of rejection. The question that we need to ask over here is it fear, is it paranoia, or is it anxiety? So coming back to the cost-benefit analysis, or to understanding that there are no free lunches, my tooth, though not bad, had to be removed. So the next question is, if it hadn't gone bad, or at least it hadn't affected me badly enough to rot in the first place, why did I remove it? Well, my understanding was, and after having gone through some personal stuff as well, I realized that most of the times we wait for things to really go bad before we start taking some actions. And personally for me, it was also a preventive measure that needed to be taken if I wanted to ensure that the root and the other teeth that may have gotten affected with the onslaught of the cavity may have not only ruptured that tooth, but would have also been the cause of the rotting of the other teeth that are attached to that particular tooth. So we've got to understand and we've got to accept and even embrace that we all have fears, the fear of the jab hitting us. Now that jab can be different for everybody, and the way we face those jabs will also differ from one person to the other. For some, it might be looking away when the jab hits you. For others, it might be looking at the jab when it pricks you. And we all get to choose how we face those jabs. We all get to choose how we face those needle pricks. So when it's said that there are no free lunches and that there's always a cost-benefit analysis that we need to take into account, when I released my tooth, it released me too. When I plunged into the fear of getting stabbed by the needle, because that's exactly how I feel, I released the fear. And it kind of turned into anxiety from paranoia. And I'm not trying to undermine and underplay the role of fear, because it does serve a purpose, and that is why it's here. When we are faced with real threat and real danger, like coming face to face with a tiger or a lion that's out on a hunt, saves us, can save us, because it may enable us make an escape from that predator. But maybe its purpose is only to serve that. Let's even address the cost-benefit analysis or no free lunches with regards to other parameters as well. When we are breathing life force in. When we are breathing out, we are also breathing out the life force along with all of the toxins that are not required. When we pollute the environment, invariably compromising it, we invariably end up compromising our wellness also, because it is that very environment that helps sustain us in the first place. When our individual and collective mindsets, which work in a tandem, is compromised, our entire wellness gets compromised. So then let's truly think of the cost-benefit analysis that we gain out of living compromised lives. So then do we wait for the tooth to decay so that it starts rotting the roots and the other teeth alongside, aligned with it, because we are paranoid of facing our own fears and our attachments to our metaphorical tooth, which is attached to our bodies and thus invariably gets impregnated into the system? Or do we unhook it and release it so that it releases us back? Can we then do an honest, self-reflective cost-benefit analysis of all of the tooth or teeth that we hold on to and why? Probably assuming that we may get a free meal or a free pass, which even comes at a price. Let's try and think about that a little more. Let's try and do that and honor ourselves a little more. And I will see you once again the next week. Till then, stay tuned in. And guys, if you do like the contents of my videos, please do like, share and subscribe.